The impeachment court decides to wipe clean past violations of the sub judice rule. Two companies that bag billions worth of public works contracts are also behind the petition to put the 85 peso wage hike in Metro Manila on hold. The BRP Diego Silang faced 5 Chinese vessels while on patrol at Escoda Shoal on August 22. The Commission on Audit lacks 384 state auditors to spot corruption and ensure public funds are properly used. And Queen of Country Music Dolly Parton passes away at the age of 80. Presiding Officer Chief Escudero says the impeachment court has decided to wipe clean past violations of the sub judice rule or Rule 18. But he warned all parties in the trial, including the respondent, Vice President Sara Duterte, of the strict enforcement of rules and appropriate sanctions for future violations. Escudero also reminds senator judges and involved parties, including the respective spokespersons of the two camps and the respondent herself, to refrain from discussing the merits of the case outside of the court and online.
Accordingly, the Chair hereby strictly enjoins all persons covered by Rule 18 from making public statements or otherwise discussing, sharing, or endorsing comments pertaining to the merits of this pending impeachment trial, and from engaging in trial by publicity, as they directly threaten the independence of the court, degrade the dignity of the tribunal, and risk turning it into a circus, and weaponize the media to substitute public outrage or actual evidence.
Meantime, constitutional lawyer Lulu Reyes says the sub judice ruling of impeachment presiding officer Chief Escudero was...
That was a very eloquent way of issuing a gag order. I think he really implemented, or his objective is really to implement Rule 18 of the Senate Rules on Impeachment quite restrictively, and that it applies to all the parties, but more importantly, and I wish he mentioned her name, the sub judice rule or Rule 18 applies to the respondent herself.
Two companies that bag billions worth of contracts from the Department of Public Works and Highways are both behind the petition to put the long-awaited 85 peso wage hike in Metro Manila on hold. Redicon Trading and Construction Corporation received 9.07 billion pesos worth of contracts from 2016 to 2026, while R2 Builders secured 3.3 billion pesos worth of contracts from 2019 to 2022. Among these, 3 contracts with a total cost of 503.3 million pesos were a joint venture between the two. Both companies previously argued against the historic 85 peso daily minimum pay increase, saying this would disrupt projects priced before the wage order was issued. After the two companies' petition, a Pasig court issued a temporary restraining order against the Regional Wage Board and the National Wages and Productivity Commission to stop them from implementing the wage hike. But Kamanggagawa Representative Eli San Fernando says,
Paanong malulugi itong mga kumpanyang to kung coming from the Secretary and DPWH, they were able to secure billions of pesos of contracts and yet they cannot pay their workers a measly 60 pesos increase from the 85 pesos na dagdag sahod ng mga manggagawa.
The first 60 peso tranche had already taken effect on July 25, raising the daily minimum wage for non-agricultural workers from 695 pesos to 755 pesos with an additional 25 peso hike scheduled for January 20 next year. The Philippine Navy's BRP Diego Silang faced 5 Chinese vessels from the People's Liberation Army Navy and China Coast Guard on August 22. The Navy's newest frigate was on its way to a point close to Escoda Shoal, where it would meet with Australia's HMAS Supply and the United States Pacific Command's USS Santa Barbara. Before the Philippine Navy ship could issue a challenge, one of the Chinese ships issued its own challenge, claiming Beijing's, quote, indisputable sovereignty over Escoda Shoal.
I noticed that you are altering course and proceeding to my vessel. Keep clear of my vessel and stay safe distance from me, over. This is Chinese Navy Warship 536. You are approaching China's Xianbingjiao. Your entry into the border adjacent to China's Xianbingjiao is prohibited without China's government approval. Leave immediately, otherwise we will take regulatory measures, over.
Rappler was one of 2 media groups that joined the week-long sail, part of the Philippines' 19th Multilateral Maritime Cooperative Activity. The Diego Silang replied with radio challenges of its own, asserting Philippine sovereignty and demanding they leave the area.
Dolly Navy 536, this Philippine Navy government vessel FSG-7. We are conducting lawful routine maritime patrol within Philippine Exclusive Economic Zone and Kalayaan Island Group. We are proceeding to our planned route. Stay clear from our passage in accordance with the pollution regulations. Over.
The Silang's commanding officer, Captain John Pierce Alcos, said the Chinese vessels tailed the Silang attempting to force a course change.
There were 5 Chinese ships from the People's Liberation Army Navy and the Chinese Coast Guard who tried to outmaneuver and force us to deviate from our intended position.
The Commission on Audit faces a shortage of personnel, saying it needs 384 more state auditors to spot possible corruption and ensure that public funds are properly used. COA Assistant Commissioner Lorna Cabot-Chan says during the Duterte administration in 2020, the Department of Budget and Management scrapped at least 716 positions in the COA. The COA filed a motion for reconsideration with the DBM, with the latter approving the restoration of 332 positions at the COA in July 2025. Of these, 141 were for the COA Bangsamoro Autonomous Region in Muslim Mindanao and 123 for Central Luzon. Former President Rodrigo Duterte had a strained relationship with the COA while he was in office, even calling on the Commission to stop publishing its audit reports. Queen of country music Dolly Parton passed away on Tuesday, August 25, her family said in a statement. She was 80 and no cause of death was disclosed. Parton became a beloved country music icon, known for her heartfelt lyrics and charismatic performances. She began writing songs at a young age. Her classic songs include Coat of Many Colors, Jolene, and I Will Always Love You. Parton became one of the best-selling female artists of all time with over 100 million records sold. She also won 11 Grammys, including a Lifetime Achievement Award. And that's today's wrap. I'm JC Gotinga. Thank you for watching. Click the link below for the full story. For more updates, download the wRap.